Attention passionate Seattle Seahawks fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Seattle Seahawks' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Seattle Seahawks fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Seattle SEAHAWKS fans. Let's get to the news folks. If you've been paying close attention to the NFL news cycle lately, you may have heard some whispers, some rumors that are truly shaking up the NFC West. And no, I'm not talking about just another off-season shuffle or some minor trade talk. We're talking about a potential blockbuster move that could completely alter the landscape of the division, especially for the Seahawks. The name that's been making waves, Nick Bosa. Yes, you heard that right. The star pass rusher from the San Francisco 49ers might be heading to the Seahawks in a trade that would be nothing short of seismic. And if this deal goes down, it could redefine the Seahawks' pass rush, their defensive identity, and their chances of fighting for another Super Bowl ring. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. Is this really happening? Could Bosa be leaving the 49ers? Well, the latest info from sources like Rossini indicates that there's a real possibility. The 49ers, currently sitting at 6-4, are struggling on defense, especially against the run. They're allowing a staggering 120 rushing yards per game, which is pretty leaky for a team with playoff ambitions. Their defensive line, despite Bosa's brilliance, has been a bit inconsistent, and they're reportedly considering trading him for a first-round pick in the 2026 draft, plus some cap relief. The cap hit for Bosa is around $20 million, which the 49ers are trying to manage, especially after some issues with their secondary and the need to prioritize offensive line upgrades. So the idea of shipping Bosa out makes sense from a cap and roster management perspective, especially if they're eyeing a rebuild or retooling. But that's where it gets interesting for the Seahawks. Seattle has been itching to bolster their pass rush, especially with the way the NFL is trending. Elite edge rushers are game changers, and Bosa is exactly that. He's a dominant force on the line with a track record of producing elite sacks and pressure numbers. In 2025, through just 3 games, Bosa already has 9 solo tackles, 8 assists, and 17 combined tackles, along with 2 sacks, 9 sack yards, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. Those are the kind of numbers that instantly elevate a defense. His career totals are impressive: 55 sacks and 86. 5 PFF grade, and he's been a multiple-time All-Pro. Even with some injuries, missing 7 games with a knee injury, Bosa's impact remains undeniable. When healthy, he's a game wrecker, and his presence on the field could instantly transform the Seahawks' pass rush into one of the most feared in the league. Now let's talk about what Bosa could bring specifically to the Seahawks. First off, his explosiveness and ability to generate pressure have been compared to the impact of guys like J.J. Watt, who can change the entire defensive dynamic. Bosa's pressure rate is over 20 per season, and he's known for his relentless motor and ability to win against blockers with a combination of strength, technique, and agility. The Seahawks, with a current pass rush grade of around 82.0 on PFF, are already solid but need that extra punch to truly rival the best pass rushes in the league. Adding Bosa would push their pressure rate up by at least 20%, making it much harder for opposing quarterbacks to settle in and find comfort in the pocket. This kind of upgrade could be the difference maker in close games, especially during playoff runs where every sack and every pressure counts. The reasoning behind this potential trade makes a lot of sense for the 49ers, too. They're trying to shore up their offensive line after allowing too many sacks, and freeing up cap space by trading Bosa could give them some flexibility for future moves. Plus, their record of 6-4 shows that their secondary needs some work, and perhaps they see a rebuild coming or want to reset their defensive line for the next few seasons. On the other hand, the Seahawks see this as an opportunity to leapfrog their division rivals. They're already looking strong, but adding a player like Bosa could push them to the top of the NFC West. And the impact on the division would be tremendous. A Bosa-led Seahawks pass rush would increase their sacks per game from about 4-0 to potentially over 6-0, a game changer in itself. Opposing quarterbacks would have to deal with constant pressure, and that could turn into more turnovers, more forced throws, and ultimately more wins for Seattle. Historically, when teams acquire elite pass rushers, their defense gets a significant boost. Think of how Khalil Mack's move to the Bears in 2018 improved their defense by about 12%, or how the Chiefs' pressure on Patrick Mahomes in 2023 echoed the kind of dominance that propelled them to the Super Bowl. Bosa's addition could be that kind of X-factor for the Seahawks, especially in the playoff push. Now, talking odds, the Super Bowl futures have already shifted with these kinds of rumors swirling. The Seahawks, who were at plus 800 odds to win it all, could see those numbers drop to around plus 450 if Bosa comes aboard. That's a tangible sign of how much faith the betting markets would have in a Seahawks team that adds such a game-changer to their defense. It's not just about boosting the pass rush. It's about sending a message to the rest of the league. The Seahawks are serious contenders, and with Bosa, they could be the team to beat in the NFC. This kind of move would echo the impact of big trades and signings that turn teams into Super Bowl favorites. Of course, nothing is certain yet. The NFL is a league of layers, negotiations, and strategic moves, but the signs point to this being a real possibility. If the Seahawks manage to land Bosa, it would be a masterstroke by the front office, a move that could define the franchise for years to come. Imagine a defensive line anchored by Bosa, paired with the rest of the Seahawks, talented front, and a secondary that's been improving but still needs that extra push. It would be a defense that could dominate in the playoffs, creating pressure with a relentless edge that opponents would dread. And then there's the broader context. The Seahawks have been building a team that's resilient, fast, and hungry. They've seen a resurgence this season, and the addition of a player like Bosa would only accelerate that momentum. Geno Smith is playing well, especially when supported by a balanced defense, but it's the defense that could take them from good to elite. The NFC West has always been a fierce division, with the 49ers, Rams, and Cardinals fighting hard. But if the Seahawks can add Bosa, they might just have the edge to run away with the division title and make a serious Super Bowl run. Now, I know some fans are probably wondering about the cost. What would it take for Seattle to get Bosa? Well, considering the 49ers' valuation and Bosa's contract, a package including draft picks, perhaps a first-rounder in 2026, and some cap relief could be on the table. Seattle has some cap space available, around $18 million, and they're known for being aggressive when it comes to building a championship team. They've been targeting elite edges for a while, and Bosa fits that mold perfectly, with a PFF grade of 82. He's among the top pass rushers in the league, and his ability to disrupt offenses would make him a cornerstone for the Seahawks' defense moving forward. Looking ahead, the Seahawks could see a ripple effect. A dominant pass rush not only helps in the regular season, but can be the difference in high-stakes playoff games. The NFL playoffs are often decided by who can get pressure on the quarterback and force turnovers. Bosa's presence would make Seattle's defense a nightmare for opposing offenses, especially when facing teams with elite quarterbacks. It's easy to see how a move like this could shift the entire balance of power in the NFC, giving the Seahawks a real shot at not just making the playoffs, but making a deep run and challenging for that Super Bowl trophy. And let's not forget, the NFL has a history of blockbuster trades that changed everything. Think about how the Rams built their Super Bowl-winning team, or how the Eagles made their push with a dominant defense. The Seahawks are always looking for that edge, and acquiring Bosa could be that missing piece. It's a bold move, yes, but in the NFL, bold is often what separates champions from the rest. The front office's vision, combined with Bosa's elite talent, could be the perfect storm for Seattle. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Seattle Seahawks news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So fans, what do you think? Could this be the move that defines the Seahawks season and sets them up for a deep playoff run? Are you excited about the possibility of seeing Bosa in that Seahawks uniform? It's a scenario that's got everyone talking, and honestly, if it happens, it could be one of the most exciting trades in recent NFL history. The Seahawks have a window right now, a chance to capitalize on a talented roster, and adding someone of Bosa's caliber might just be the piece they need to unlock that next level. Of course, there are still questions to be answered. Will the 49ers really part ways with Bosa? Will the Seahawks be willing to part with valuable draft capital? How will Bosa adapt to the Seahawks scheme, and can he stay healthy after some injury setbacks? Those are all things we'll be watching closely in the coming days. But one thing is clear, The energy around this potential move is electric, and it's got Seahawks fans fired up. In the end, if this deal happens, it wouldn't just be about one player. It would be a statement that the Seahawks are all in, and they're willing to make bold moves to chase that Lombardi trophy. So buckle up, Seahawks fans. The offseason might just get a whole lot more exciting, and we'll be here every step of the way, breaking down every detail, every rumor, and every possibility. And now, Seattle Seahawks fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Seahawks. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Seattle Seahawks news.